welcome to episode 90 of the Best Day Ever Crafting podcast. This is a podcast about my making journey and celebrating with you all the reasons why crafting every day makes for the best day ever. My name is Trish, and I can be found on Instagram and Ravelry as Tie Dye Diva. You can also find show notes for this episode in the Ravelry group, which is also called the Best Day Ever Crafting podcast group. If this is your first time viewing, welcome in. This is just my little corner of the internet where I get to share with you my love of making. Primarily the fiber arts as it relates to knitting and crochet, but I also love to sew, journal, embroidery. I've tried cross stitching, but can't say that I particularly enjoyed that. So, but yeah, I love to, I just love to make, absolutely love to make. And there's a rare day that goes by that I don't knit. I knit almost every single day. And if I don't knit, and it's because I'm doing something else crafty. So that's me in a nutshell. And I don't think I mentioned you can also find me on Instagram as _fibertree, and that is where I share lots of content about planning and journaling. So if journaling is your thing or you're interested in learning more, then you may want to follow me over there too. As a matter of fact, today we're going to talk about a little bit of journaling. Towards the end, we'll wrap up with what I've been doing in journaling for the past week or so since the month started. So today is Sunday, July the 9th, and I normally like to record on Fridays, but I didn't get to record this past Friday. It's been a super busy week, busier than usual, and we also had a funeral to attend on Friday, unfortunately. So I was so determined, however, to make sure that I recorded at least within close to a 2-week time frame. That's like a personal goal that I have, that I'm really trying to stick with. So that's why I'm recording today, which is on a Sunday. And hopefully I'll be able to get this edited and uploaded today as well. How is the weather where you are? Where we are, which is in the state of Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C., it has been horrifically humid and hot. We've been having high 80, low 90 days with 60, 70% humidity. And it's been pretty oppressive. As a matter of fact, today I'm not feeling my best, so I hope that doesn't show up in the podcast, but I've just been really lethargic and tired, low energy, and I really think the weather has a lot to do with it, even though I really haven't spent a lot of time in it, but it definitely affects you. So here I am with the raspy voice again, so I will try to minimize the edits and drink plenty of water. So let's just get right into the making. I do have one finished object in knitting to share with you, and then I will update you on my whips. I am so proud of myself because I have not cast on anything new since we last chatted. So the whips will all be updates on existing projects that you've already seen. And then, like I said, we will talk about some journaling, and I also have some sewing to share. It's been quite some time. So I'll share with you a little bit of sewing, a work in progress that I'm working on. And then we'll talk about some acquisitions as always. So let's talk about my finished object. So I was able to finish one of the pairs of socks that I had on the needles. These are vanilla socks on Magic Loop, which is a pattern by Kay Litton, who is the crazy sock lady. Where did I get Kay Jones from? Anyway, it's a pattern by Kay Litton, also known as the Crazy Sock Lady. Her podcast is also called the Crazy Sock Lady Podcast. And as the name indicates, these were knit during the Magic Loop method. And I started them at the cuff as the pattern indicated. I also did an extra deep cuff because I really, really like that in a sock. And just a standard slip stitch heel and a contrasting toe. So the yarn that I used is Lion Brand. It's Lion Brand, and I'm looking, I think I left the rest of it in the room. But it's Lion Brand Stockies. It's a, I believe it's an 80-20 merino nylon blend. For quite some time, Lion Brand had discontinued this yarn, and they just recently brought it back. So I was able to pick up quite a few skeins off their website. These are for me, unless my sister grabs them from me. This color is called Martini. Don't quite understand what the inspiration for this color was, but it is Martini, and I've got a little end to cut right there. So yeah, just a basic pair of socks. Not much more to say about these. These will go in the sock drawer for this upcoming season, this upcoming fall and winter. Really, really look forward to having these. I actually finished these. I finished them last night, all with the exception of the Kitchener heel, the Kitchener toe, I'm sorry. And I was really, really sleepy and I didn't want to mess it up. So I woke up this morning and did the toe and immediately soaked them. And I set them outside, hoping they would be dry by this afternoon, but they didn't quite make it. And I'm pretty sure the high humidity has a lot to do with that. So, but yeah, another pair of socks for the sock drawer, all done. So let's talk about the whips, the things I've been working on. I'm continuing to work on since we last talked. So the first one is the Embrace Cowl. And this is a cowl by Andrea Mowry. And this is the progress I've made. It is knit in a tube. And the pattern will have you to twist it once and then seam it for a Mobius cowl. And yeah, like I said, this is the progress I've made. I have not measured this yet. I am a bit concerned that I'm going to run out of yarn. This is actually a shop sample for one of my new local yarn shops in my area, which is called Gathering Yarns. And I agreed to do a shop sample for them. So I believe this yarn, which is the Queensland, I think this is called Queensland. It's a Queensland yarn. If I say Queensland one more time. Look, oh, here it is. Here's the ball band. So this is Queensland Rainbow Beach. So the pattern is really written for you to use a variety of mini skeins that you hold together and you're doing a marling effect. So I have a feeling I'm not going to have enough for the large, which is what I intended to do. What I intended to make. So I'm going to reach out to Terry and Brian and see what they think. I might also not do the twist and just seam it like this. See how that turns out. But in any event, take a look at this beautiful design. It's basically a 2-row repeat of knits and purls and slip stitches, which really helps this stitch right here to really pop. And it's a very lovely meditative pattern to work on. And I just love holding those two strands together because there's something about holding two strands together that just puts a lot of air and floofiness into the project. So I really, really have enjoyed working on this. I just hope that once I finish all of this yarn and I block it, I can get it to stretch enough to do the twist and then seam. If not, then it may just be a regular cowl without a twist. So this is probably the last time you will see this because I really hope to get this done this week and hand it off to the shop, but I will definitely take tons of pictures of it so that I can update you on the next podcast. And I will also let you know if I was able to do the actual Mobius of this pattern. So that's the progress on that. So I'm holding it with this, like I said, this Queensland Rainbow Beach, and I was holding it with this natural color of Cascade Heritage Sock. Okay, so I might actually get to finish this tonight, and then get it soaked and see what kind of length I can get on this. So this is definitely quite close to being finished. So that's one work in progress. The second work in progress is the Killer Queen Cowl by Mary Annarella. And when I showed this to you the last time, I didn't have much done at all. I think I may have only been to this point right here, but I have actually got quite a bit more done since then. So here is my progress. This cowl it's knit in different sections where it has you doing different things, and it's such a lovely, enjoyable, engaging pattern. Very well written. I did, however, make a mistake on one of the sections, which is this section here. I forget what it's called, and as you can see, it's really pretty as is, but this is not the way it's supposed to look. So fortunately, as you knit the cowl, this section here is repeated one more time. So I have another time to get it right, but I didn't want to frog it. Because it still is such a pretty design like this, incorrectly, I'm going to keep it. It'll be like a design element, and I will, like I said, get it right when I get to the next section where I have to repeat it. So stay tuned for the progress on this. This is being knit with Malabrigo Rios, which is a 100% superwash merino wool. And the colors that I'm using are Wells Road and Grist, which is this beautiful charcoal gray. And together they are making a really, really beautiful cowl. This is going to work so well with denim jeans, maybe a leather jacket in the fall. And the Rios is just such a wonderful yarn. It's just so soft and silky and springy. Just an absolute delight. It has a really great price point to it, and I'm really, really enjoying this project. And I am knitting this on a US 6, I believe. Yes, this is a US 6 4mm needle. So yeah, I made quite a bit of progress on that, and looking forward to getting this one finished up soon as well. So the final whip, I believe that's the final. Let me just double check my notes. Yes, so there is one more whip in knitting, and this is my test knit sweater for Tiff Nealon. It's called the Wildflower Tee. And when I showed this I've made so much progress on this. I'm just so proud of myself. Made quite a bit of progress on this. I believe the last time I showed this, I had just finished the front. I just completed the lace section for the front, and I was getting ready to start knitting on the body. So this is the progress I have thus far. I've even picked up stitches for the neck and got the 1x1 twisted ribbing done for the neckline. The pattern has you do the neckline last, but I'll share with you a tip that I picked up from the Wool and Wine podcast, the ladies of the Wool and Wine podcast. And they suggested that when you do a sweater where you have to come back and pick up the neck after the body is done, they suggest doing that before you bind off of the body. It can definitely affect the length of the sweater when you pick up the stitches for the neckline. So anyway, that's what I did. And I also knit, I had agreed to knit a size 6 sweater, but then I got to looking at the pattern and reading it, and I was afraid that it was going to be too small, so I went up one size, which I think might have been a mistake, because as you can see, this is really, really oversized. So to help with that, I did pick up less stitches for the ribbing, for the neck ribbing, and the hope was that is going to cinch in that neckline, so at least even if the sweater is like oversized, at least the neck won't just be so wide where it's looking sloppy. So I think I hit that pretty good. Very, very pleased with the way that looks. You will notice that I have a little marker right here. So this lace repeat is just so lovely. It's just a 2-row repeat, and it involves some yarn overs, as you can see, and I inadvertently did a yarn over where I wasn't supposed to, and I didn't realize that until I was well into the body of the sweater. And I didn't want to frog. I did not want to rip this back, so I just have a little marker right there. And when I realized the mistake that I made, what I did was I broke the yarn and left myself quite a long tail. So then when I'm actually finished with the sweater, I'll go back and close that hole up. Maybe do some duplicate stitching or something like that. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But all in all, I'm really enjoying this. This is a very interesting construction. I won't give away any details of the pattern, but as I was knitting this, I said, you know, this would be the perfect sweater, like the first sweater for someone if you've never knit a sweater before. Say if you're used to knitting shawls and lots of lace, but you've never taken the plunge and knit that sweater, I think this would be a perfect sweater as a first knit sweater. So this is supposed to be cropped, and I want it to be cropped. So what I'm going to do, the length that it is now is the length that is called for in the pattern. So what I will do now, instead of continuing to knit it any further on the length, I'm going to pick up from my sleeves and get my sleeves done. I will try it on again and then determine if I want to make it longer before I do the ribbing for the body. And this is how much yarn I have left over. I feel like I'm about to lose my voice. Very much on the struggle bus today. So anyway, this is how much yarn I have left over. So as you can see, I'm getting pretty close to finishing up this skein, and this is the final skein. This yarn is a discontinued yarn, and I can't believe I don't have the ball band with me, but it is the Think Trish, think. What is the name of this yarn? Is it Severn? I think it's called Severn Fingering. Yes, I think it's Severn Fingering. If not, everything is on my Ravelry page. I have created a Ravelry page for this, and it'll be in the show notes. But it's a combination of merino, silk, and nylon, I believe. So, yeah. The deadline for completing this is the 15th. Like I said, today is the 9th. So So I'm going to be really, really focused these next few days and hoping to get this finished. So yeah, that is my progress on the wildflower tee. So let's get into sewing, shall we? So it has been so long since I have been at my sewing machine, but I have been hit by the sewing bug for so many different reasons. So I decided that I would take it slow as I, got into sewing. I would go right back to what was familiar with me, and that is the 100 Acts of Sewing Patterns by Sonia Phillip. I believe it's Sonia Phillips is her name. And okay, yes, here we go. I was looking for. So I cut out a shirt number, a dress. Let me see, is it dress number 1? I cut out a dress number 1 from the 100 Acts of Sewing. And let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is my dress number 1. And it's not really a dress. It is more like a tunic. I only had 2 yards of fabric, and so I decided to do a tunic. I used just about every single bit of this fabric, and I've got the shoulder seams sewn as well as the side seams. So I have said this so many times, even though it's been a while since I've talked about sewing. These are perfect patterns for a beginner sewist. This is just 2 seams, and then it will be finished with some seam binding. The pattern has instructions for you to make your own seam binding, but I came to the realization that while in the past, when I made my own seam binding for these dresses, these tops, I was no longer going to do that because it is time consuming. It is really lovely to have a contrast color for your seam binding, but it is quite an investment of time. So I'm just going to use pre-packaged seam binding that I picked up from a big box store. You can pick this up at your local Joann's and so many other places as well. So this is just a single fold bias tape. And so I just have to finish, like I said, the sleeves and the neckline, and I will be done. I did make a little boo-boo with this, and I was just so disappointed in myself because I should have known better. So the pattern piece for the back and the front is the exact same. So I thought I would save some time, and instead of cutting each piece separate, I would just fold the fabric in half, and then I would put it on the fold, put the pattern on the fold of the pattern on the fold of the fabric as indicated in the pattern. So I would have a double thickness, and then I would only have to cut out once. But what I didn't take into consideration is that this is a directional fabric, and so the cats are upright, as you can see. And because I didn't take that into consideration for the back of the dress, the cats are upside down. That's a rookie mistake. I should have known better, and I should have taken better care. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Handmade is not supposed to be perfect. I don't even think people will even notice it. And if they do, that's fine. That's fine. It's still going to be a super cute and adorable dress. I never imagined that I would be making a dress with cats on it. But I am a bit cat obsessed, at least for my cashmere anyway. He's just so sweet. My little sweet fluff nugget is what I call him. So yes, I'm so happy to be back at the sewing machine. I will definitely have that completed by the next time I record. And the other project that I'm working on is also a 100 Acts of Sewing pattern, and that is the shirt number 1. And let me just show you the silhouette of the shirt number one. It's so simple, just like the dress number one. There it is. It's just two pieces, same pattern piece for the front and the back, and two seams. Well, four seams, two for each side and two for the shoulder. And this is also finished with bias tape binding. And the fabric that I am using for that is a little bit dressier. It's so pretty. I can't remember who the maker of it is. I almost want to say Art Gallery, but I'm not completely sure. So here is my pattern pieces already cut out. There you can see the sleeve. Here's the other sleeve. And how beautiful is this fabric? You see how drapey that is? Look at those beautiful colors. So beautiful. So I've got two of those cut out, and the goal is to get these sewn up really, really quickly too. I can totally see wearing both of these with some linen, white linen pants, or I have an orange skirt that I made, but I'm thinking that the orange skirt I made is has more pink in it. This is like a reddish orange, so I might have to end up making a skirt to match this. Have to see what I have in my fabric stash that will match it, but this is going to be so gorgeous. So gorgeous. So really looking forward to finishing those up. I'm still at the point in my sewing where I really like to keep it really simple. I know that there are just so many different patterns you can wear, but even when I buy clothes from the store, they're pretty simple silhouettes. I buy a lot of cotton button-up shirts, a lot of linen blouses, and even though they may have buttons on them, they're just really plain and simple. I just like really soft silhouettes and clothing that just flows off of my body. That's where I'm most comfortable. So I guess it only makes sense that my the patterns that I sew would also be the same. So let's go. On that note, we can go right into acquisitions. So the first thing I will share with you are a couple of patterns that I picked up from Joann's, which is a local big box store, but the selections are usually pretty nice. So they had a pattern sale about a week ago, and I picked up 3 new patterns. So speaking of simple silhouettes, this is Simplicity 9130. And I had a pattern like this some time ago, and it was it was actually too small for me. I think I ended up getting rid of it. So I was so happy to find this again. I love the silhouette on this skirt. Again, there's a seam for the front, and I believe there's a seam. Yes, there's also a seam for the back of the skirt. So the seam's in the front and the back. But I don't know whether you could switch that around, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Even if I will be using a print fabric, that seam in the front or back wouldn't bother me at all. I probably will eventually do the top 2 because I love that flounce, but I definitely bought the pattern for the skirt. And there is also pants included in this pattern as well. So a really good deal. The next pattern is Simplicity 9741. This is a Mimi G pattern. Look how cool and comfortable that is. And this is made for a knit fabric. It's made for a stretch knit, like double knit, interlock jersey, lightweight ponte. So, and I have tons of knit fabric that would work so well with this. And finally, so this next pattern does have quite a few more details. It's going to require a little bit more focus, but I just couldn't resist it because I thought it was so adorable. This is Simplicity 9265. Again, long, flowy. I had a dress similar to the silhouette on yesterday. Even though it was so hot, I was so comfortable because it was just flowy. The air could get in when there was air. When there was a little bit of wind blowing, the wind could get in, and it just flowed right over my body, which was super, super comfortable. And I really love those sleeves. Even though I like really simple lines and simple silhouettes, I love a dramatic sleeve. So that's really, really cute. The short sleeve version is cute also. So yeah, this one is a little bit more involved because it does involve a zipper in the back, but I'm up to the challenge. I'm also curious about these. It looks like these ruffles are exposed, if you can tell. So that's a new to me technique also. So I'm trying to be really deliberate about which patterns I choose. I kind of feel like in the past, whenever there was a $1.99 pattern sale, I would just, if it was in my size, I'd buy it. I said I'll get to it at some point. And then I ended up giving a ton of them away. Took some to Goodwill. And interestingly enough, I also use some of those old patterns for journaling. They make really, really good backgrounds on journaling pages. I'm not home alone. My sons are home. So if you hear someone coughing or some dishes, or you might hear a toilet flush, despite the fact that I said I'm podcasting, keep your noise down. Anywho, so that's it for sewing. That's it for sewing. Let me share with you the other acquisitions that I have. And before I do the first one, I want to look up a pattern because this is the reason that I purchased this yarn. It's a brand new bandana, and you know, the bandanas seem to be all the rage now, right? So this one is called the Sherbet bandana. It only takes one skein of Lamb & Kid Big Birdie. And the color, actually, I take that back. Big Birdie is a Diamond Lane brand. Lamb & Kid is the store in which Diamond Lane yarns are sold. So here is the color that I chose. How beautiful is that? Looks like a cloud, doesn't it? And this color is Fuzzy Flamingo. So this really pretty pink, there we go. So really looking forward to making that sooner than later. I think my husband is talking to me, even though he knows I'm podcasting. Yes, dear, that's fine. Okay. Okay. So let's move on into a few things I picked up for summer sock camp. So I should have mentioned the first project I showed you, these vanilla socks on Magic Loop. This is my first entry for summer sock camp, which is also being hosted by Kay Litton of the Crazy Sock Lady. And she has a merch shop, and I picked up a few things. Me and my friends, Stacy, we ordered together, and I've been busy, she's been busy, and she just was able to drop off my things to me this past weekend, this past Friday. So I picked up this cute little drawstring pouch, which is perfect for socks. It says Summer Sock Camp, and that's the logo for 2023. I also picked up a Summer Sock Camp sticker. How cute is that? And finally, I got a t-shirt, which also says Summer Sock Camp. This is an interesting color. I believe it said oatmeal was the color. So it's not white, it's not gray. It's like a tan. It's like a heathery tan. And I love this scoop neck. Perfect. So those are my summer sock camp items. I'm so tempted to get the coffee mug now that I see how cute this logo is. It's got some tie-dye in it and butterflies and a little bit of floral. There's some, it's really cute. The logo is like super cute. I couldn't really tell the details of it on Instagram. There's some s'mores for camping, hot chocolate. Yeah, I think I need this mug. I'm gonna have to send Stacy a text and ask her if she wants one. Stacy, I think we need a mug. We need a coffee mug. Can you see that? Can you see the s'mores and the mountains and the beach and the sunflowers, books? So it's like a little summer getaway. So I definitely want to get more socks on the needles. I did watch, I purchased these Stephen West Mystery Sock Along, and I actually watched the first clue on YouTube, which is really intriguing, but I'm not 100% sure that I want to make them or not. So stay tuned for that. It's a really, really pretty sock. Really pretty sock. And I do love the pattern support as well. So the other thing that has come in is I bought another Fat Squirrel Fibers bag because look at that. So beautiful. These funky mushrooms. How can you not? So fun. So I also found some really good steals on yarn. So let me show them to you. Chelsea Luxe Yarns. I just happened to be looking on the side and I said, let me just peek in her little sales section to see what she has. And these 4 popped in my cart. They were a steal, I'm telling you, and I couldn't say no. So this is her DK Tweed base, and it doesn't have a color. I'm thinking that I'm really thinking that it was a misdye, like it was supposed to be another color, but it didn't quite turn out the way she wanted it. So she threw them on sale. It's not quite neon, pretty close though. It's so pretty. It is so pretty, and I think it's gonna look really pretty on me. So I already have some other random DK weight tweed skeins, and I'm thinking I want to do like a striped sweater for the fall. This could even be a Rhinebeck sweater because I think I'm going to Rhinebeck. That's the goal. So I'm going to decide that this week. I'm going to weigh the cost and think about everything else we've got to do coming up. And if I decide that we're going to go to Rhinebeck, then I will definitely be casting on for my sweater very soon because time is moving. Time is going by so fast. So the final thing I want to share with you, some more sale yarn from Zen Yarn Garden. So I picked up these 2 lovely skeins. And this is their super fine fingering base. It's a 90% superwash merino and 10% nylon. It's 400 yards each. And I think this would make the most amazing shawl. The semi-solid color is Rouge, and the variegated is Aztec. They actually came as a set, and I purchased these, believe it or not, on Zulily. So if you have ever shopped on Zulily, I've purchased several crafty type things from them. They just have a variety of things, but they are they do sell Zen Garden yarns, and if you want to get your hands on some really inexpensive, beautiful hand-dyed yarn, head over to Zulily because the prices are they're just unbelievable. At least 50% off the retail, even and more. I would say and more. So being that hand-dyed yarn, well, everything is getting so expensive nowadays. It's really, really good to find a bargain. So you will not be disappointed, I promise you. And even Zen, if you go directly on Zen Yarn Garden's website, they also have really, really good sales. So check it out. And if you break the bank, I am willing to take full responsibility. But you'll be happy. You will be happy because this is just drop dead gorgeous. Okay, I think that's it in yarn acquisitions. I love a deal. I love, love, love a sale. I was actually talking to my friend. I said, I think I wouldn't mind doing just a separate little mini episode on where to find bargain craft supplies, in particular yarn. So what do you think? Do you think that's something you'd be interested in? Just a little brief video of my findings and where I have been prone to find really good prices on crafting supplies. So finally, let's talk a little bit about journaling. So this month is Junk Journal July, and that is being hosted by Meg Journals on YouTube. I will link to her YouTube channel in the show notes. I'm sorry, but I'm looking for my journal. Hold on, it's around here somewhere. It's around here somewhere. I'm trying to be neat. Oh, here it is. Sometimes I hide things from my own self by mistake. Okay, so this is my little journal for Junk Journal July. This is just a really basic notebook that I picked up from the craft store. It's nothing special. It was super inexpensive. It has like 40 pages, and I'm like, you know what, this will be perfect. So for Junk Journal July, there's a prompt for you to work off of. You don't have to use those prompts, but they're really good to help encourage you, to help, you know, coax you along if you get a little stuck and don't know what to journal or what direction you want to take. So there's one for every day. So I am behind. Today is the 9th, I believe, and I stopped on day 6. So I've got six pages to show you. So this is the prompt list. When you go on her website, you can download this list for free. And this is my very first page here. Let me get my face out of the way. So I've got some stenciling, some stamping, some collage. I've got quite a bit going on this page, and just a little bit of text journaling there. And this is my second page that I did. This prompt was pop of color, so that's why I went with those bright pink circles and some more collage and some more stenciling. Just having fun. And here is day 3. Some washi tape and some little journaling card that I tore out there. Some extra flowers there. So someone sent me a message on Instagram a couple days ago, and she asked, why do I journal? I think she was wanting to know, what's the purpose of all this, and or what do I do with my junk journals? And so my answer to her was, I do it because in the moment it's like it's another creative outlet. It is a way to experiment with colors and textures and supplies, and just combining those things and seeing what things you can come up with, what textures and what it's pretty amazing. And once you really get into it, you can even use those same elements. You can use color and texture to express an emotion or to express something that you really want to say, but you don't want to write it out. It could be a sticker. It could be a picture of a girl who, I don't know, to me, she looks unbothered and just at peace. Or maybe she's thinking about the quality of patience. So it's another creative outlet. And I love it. I really, really love it. And junk journaling. So when I work in my regular journals, sometimes I try to be specific about what things I want to create. It's a little neater. It's a little bit more focused. Whereas junk journaling it's like anything goes, which is so freeing, so freeing. So you don't have to be an expert to junk journal. And it's also your creative expression, right? So it's not about doing it like somebody else does it. It's really about you expressing your creativity. And the more unique it is, the better it is, because it's really a reflection of you. So here's another page. And yet another page here. The prompt for this was fold out. So I just took a piece of cardstock and I cut it in half. And then I did an accordion fold on it and just stuck some collage elements onto it and just gave a little title. It's like a little book. And I had this little, is this a sticker? No, this is just from a piece of paper I thought was really, really cool. And there's a little coffee cup stamp that I have, and all these other elements I've been collecting. So, I mean, you literally are just assembling things on a page that make you happy, that just express where you are at that moment. So, like I said, there's no wrong way of doing this. And then the final page that I completed, this prompt was layers upon layers. And this is what I came up with. Now, when I finished this, this particular, I did not like this. I hated it. I was, but you know, I wasn't going to rip it out. I wasn't going to cover it. And now that I look at it, I absolutely love it. So, I decided, because I wanted lots and lots of layers on this page, I decided to cover the entire page with a napkin. It's just a regular napkin you would get from the, that you would use for dining. And so you know, just glued that on. It's not perfect. It's got some bubbles and texture. And then this really beautiful layer here is some really interesting paper that I picked up from, I believe it was Paperlogy. And we've got some lace and more stamping of butterflies and just a variety of things on this page. And like I said, now that I look at it, I absolutely love it. And this is a page in progress. I was working on this page when I had company come over, so I had to put it down. And I haven't picked it up since Friday. So today is Sunday. So my goal today is to get caught up. 7, 8. So that's just 3 pages. So I'm going to fix myself a cup of tea. And that's my plan for tonight. I'm going to get this podcast uploaded and edit it first and upload it. And get into my journal tonight is my goal. So I think that's all I have to share with you. Thank you so much for being here today. And I also wanted to thank you so much for all the comments on the last episode. We sat and chatted together about feeling the pressure to make. And your comments were just amazing. So thank you so much. I have a feeling we're going to revisit this topic sometime in the future. So I'm going to hold on to those comments because I might actually be using them for a future episode. So, but again, thank you so much. To close, we decided for the 4th of July, everyone was off, so the entire family decided to take a trip to the eastern shore of Maryland. So basically the state of Maryland and DC is completely surrounded by water. So you can go as short as 20 minutes to an hour away and you're going to be near some body of water, either a river or a creek or something. So we decided to go to the eastern shore and we had a great day, and I'm going to insert those pictures in the closing. So I hope you enjoy those. Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with my raspy voice and my brain fog. I kind of feel like I got my bearing as the podcast went on. But hopefully the weather will improve. Hopefully I'll be feeling better by the time I record again. And let me know what you're making. What are you working on? Are you still working on your summer knits? Or have you put the cotton and linen down and now you're working on your winter sweaters? Let me know what you're working on in the comments. And I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Happy making. Bye-bye.